You know that feeling when your phone lights up with their name and your first instinct isn't happiness, it's dread. A tiny voice in the back of your head whispers, "What do they need this time?" And then you feel guilty for even thinking that because they're your friend, right? Right? Let me paint you a picture. There's this person in your life. Maybe it's someone from school, maybe college, maybe work, maybe someone you grew up with. And on paper, they seem like a great friend. Funny, charming, makes you laugh. You have history together. But here's the thing nobody talks about. You can't remember the last time they asked how you were doing. Like, actually asked. Not the, "Hey, what's up?" that doesn't wait for an answer. Not the, "We should hang soon," that never becomes a real plan. I mean, genuinely sat down and said, "Bro, how are you actually doing?" You're trying to remember. You can't. But you can remember every single time they called you. You remember the 11 p.m. text, "Hey, you up? I need help moving this weekend." You remember, "Mike, can you just proofread this real quick?" That turned into 2 hours of basically writing it for them. You remember, "I just need someone to talk to," but somehow the conversation was only ever about them. Every single time. And the wild part is, you showed up. You always showed up because that's who you are. Let me get specific because I want you to feel this. You're having the worst week of your life, like genuinely bad. Anxiety through the roof, you haven't slept properly, something's falling apart, and you finally build up the courage to reach out. You text them, "Hey, been going through a lot lately. Can we talk sometime?" You watch the message. 1 tick, 2 ticks, blue ticks, read, no reply. You wait. The next day, nothing. 2 days later where they reply, "OMG, so sorry bro, missed this BTW. Can you help me with something real quick?" And something in your chest just drops. But you still reply because that's who you are. Or how about this one? You make a plan, an actual plan, a specific day, a specific time. You're kind of excited, honestly, because you miss them. You rearrange your schedule a little. You're ready. The day comes. Nothing. You text them, "Hey, still on for today?" 3 hours later, "Oh man, I completely forgot. Something came up. Rain check?" And you say, "No worries, it's all good." But it's not all good. You're sitting alone wondering why it's so easy for them to forget about you. Or, and this one might hit the hardest, you're at a social event together. Their friends are there. Cool people, good energy. And this person, your person, barely acknowledges you, laughs a little louder with everyone else, doesn't include you in conversations. You're standing on the outside of a circle, smiling at your phone so you don't look as invisible as you feel. And on the way home, they text you, "Tonight was so fun, love you, bro." And you reply, "Yeah, it was great," with a smile emoji. Because what else do you say? "Actually, I felt like a ghost around you tonight." Nobody says that. So you fold it up, put it somewhere deep, and keep going. So here's where we land. You kept calling it friendship because you were scared to admit you were being used. Not because you were blind, not because you were naive, because you genuinely cared and you wanted it to be real. That's not your fault, but at some point, caring about someone can't cost you your own peace, your own time, your own sense of self-worth. At some point, you have to look at the pattern, not the person, and ask yourself, does this feel like love? Or does this feel like convenience? The people who are really for you, you don't have to wonder. You don't track who texted last. You don't calculate who showed up more. You don't brace yourself when their name appears on your screen. It just feels easy. Not perfect, but easy, safe, mutual. Hold out for that. And slowly, quietly, without drama, let go of the ones who only call when they need something. Not with anger. Not with a long message they probably won't read carefully anyway. Just let go. Because you deserve a friendship that doesn't make you feel like an option. You deserve someone who calls just to hear your voice. And that person exists. but you'll never find them while you're still running on empty for someone who never even noticed. If this hit you somewhere deep, you know what to do. Drop a comment, share it with someone who needs it, and honestly, take care of yourself today.